Mike Bohn here with UFC strawweight contender Michelle Waterson, who is fighting Angela Hill September 12th. Michelle, how are we doing?
I'm really excited to get in there with Angela. I think it'll be really good. We've been training hard, so we're doing as well as we can. Araya just had her first day of school today, and we're training hard.
Interesting. Last time we spoke, it was like kind of when pandemic was really starting to get into it, and you were talking about some of the challenges of teaching her and doing homeschooling stuff. How nice is it to have her back at school now?
I think the kids need to be at school. They need to be able to interact with their teachers. They need to be able to socialize with their friends, and the teachers they get paid the big bucks because they're good at what they do. So I'm gonna leave the teaching to them.
Yeah, did that give you a new appreciation for their role in the child's life and everything after going through that?
Oh, absolutely. I've always had a huge appreciation for teachers. I think that teachers are the ones that inspire our children to become who they are as adults. So it's a huge responsibility that falls on the teacher. So I've always appreciated all the teachers.
No doubt. And obviously, you have your big fight coming up. It was supposed to happen originally. We thought August 22nd this weekend. It gets pushed back a few weeks. Why did it get pushed back? Do you know?
I had some internal family issues, and we got to take care of family. It's really important. I think more than ever. I think that's something that the pandemic has opened our eyes to is to appreciate the people that are in your life. And fighting obviously is a passion of mine. Is something that I love to do. But the people that are in my life, I want them to know that I'm there for them. And
Yeah.
I just try to respect their privacy because they don't want the world to know what's going on. So I myself am an open book. I share my life and my world and my family with everyone. But if I have family that doesn't want to share that stuff, then I won't. I usually try to respect their privacy.
Yeah, of course. And I won't prod anymore, knowing that. But everything okay now, I guess you could say, obviously, if you're able to reschedule things.
It's still in the progress.
Okay. Okay. Well, I wish you guys all the best there. But you obviously feel comfortable enough to go in a fight now personally, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. And what does that change do? I mean, obviously, all these fights now are kind of coming together on semi-short notice, as it is to get an extra few weeks like that. Do you just feel like that's gonna make you even sharper come fight night?
Yeah, absolutely. The more time we have, the longer we can sharpen our axe, so they say. So we're just continuing to grind it out, and we're already ready. So now it's kind of dialing in everything and zeroing in.
And this is one that's felt somewhat inevitable for a while. I mean, both in former Invicta champions, you and Angela, obviously spent a lot of time in this weight class yourselves. Are you surprised that this is finally the time you're crossing paths, or did you think it might happen sooner?
Yeah, no. With all the girls in the division, I've always kept an eye out for it. I think it's actually kind of funny because when Joanna and I were getting ready to fight, and there was all that drama going on with Joanna's weight, I remember seeing Angela in the lobby and just thinking, man, she's really trying to take advantage of any opportunity that she can, and good on her for doing that. And I think it's a great matchup. We're both climbing the ladder, and we're both really eager to get to the top.
Yeah, good call. I was actually in Tampa for that fight. I forgot that whole thing went down at like the beginning of the fight week where she was maybe, step in. There was all the drama about Joanna's weight. That was funny. I forgot about all that.
Yeah. I looked at her and I was like, how did you know something was going to go down before it even happened? But, that's just how Angela has always been. She's just trying to, and that's why she's been so successful in her career, is because she makes herself available and when the opportunity arises, she's there for that opportunity. This is my opportunity to capitalize on the situation and, and beat her.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been watching her recent fights or whatever, studying in the lead up to this fight. Did you think she had beat Claudia Gadelha in their last fight? I know a lot of people felt she did.
It's one of those things where, depending on how you're watching the fight and how you like to judge the fight, do you enjoy watching stand-up fights? Do you enjoy watching positional fighting? Do you enjoy grappling? Do you enjoy, it is up in the air, just like my fight was up in the air with Carla. And so I think that's probably another one of the reasons why they matched us up, because both of our fights were so controversial, and it could have gone either way.
Yeah, and that with that said too, imagine if those decisions had gone the other way, this would probably be like a title eliminator or something, right?
Absolutely, and it still can be. You never know. You never know with the UFC. If you put on a good enough display, they might just be like, "Damn, she's ready for the belt." You know.
Yeah, and knowing that too, I mean, the loss to Carla, it seems like she could potentially be next with Tatiana still on the sidelines and some other contenders in limbo. So I guess that loss too doesn't seem as bad if she's going to be fighting for the title next.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are things that I take away from that fight. Obviously, we talk about it being controversial and
Mhm.
this and that, but with every loss, there's always something to be taken away from it. There's always something to be learned from it. And if you don't go back and learn from your losses or even your wins, then there's something that you're doing wrong yourself. So, we went back to the drawing boards, and we fixed all the things that we knew that we could, and we're going to come into this fight even that much better.
Yeah, obviously you don't want to reveal any of your cards that you're trying to keep close, but is there anything maybe grander scheme that you can point to that you will be maybe noticeable for the viewers watching you compete in this one compared to the last one?
I think what it comes down to is I'm excited to go out there and fight. I'm not. I'm kind of done with trying to strategize and this and that. I'm excited to fight. I'm excited to punch her in the face. I'm excited to put some damage on her.
And is that because like what Angela Hill brings to the table, right? Like obviously she's evolved, but that's her style is pretty straightforward in terms of what she likes to do. She likes to strike.
Yeah, man. Like I said, I just I walked away from my last fight pretty upset with myself, and feeling as if it was it was not even as strenuous as a sparring match that I've had in training, and I never want to walk away with that feeling again. So I'm gonna go in there, I'm gonna lay it all on the line, and I'm gonna throw down with her, stand there and trade with her, because at the end of the day, it's a fight.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be a lot of fun then. And I mean, on paper though, it is coming off the two losses. But you being here before, you had this earlier in your UFC career, and you followed it with a 3-fight winning streak, which was your best run that you've had in the octagon so far. So, do you feel like on paper, even though it's back-to-back losses, knowing you being here, knowing you can overcome it and thrive, does that give you even more confidence that you'll be back on track with this fight?
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to take into consideration how those losses happen. They were both decisions. The last one was a split decision, very controversial, against two previous champions. Like that's nothing to hang my head low for. Those are losses that can still propel me forward, still make me a better fighter, and still um, get get me more prepared to climb up the rankings.
Absolutely. So you win here. Do you feel like you're right back on the doorstep? I guess that's kind of what we're getting at.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. And again, like I said, I think it's just kind of like snatch things back into perspective for me, as far as why is it that I fight, and it's that adrenaline of the unknown. It's that adrenaline of going in there and knowing that only one person gets their hand raised, and it's that excitement of being able to actually let loose on all my punches. When we train, we pull back because you don't want to hurt your teammates.
Mhm.
So in the fight, you actually have the opportunity to go out there and let the punches fly, and that's what I intend to do.
Is that part of that? I mean, you're such a nice person. We all know that. You're always smiling. You're the kindest person in the world. Like, is there maybe sometimes that dealing when you're actually in the fight to, like you said there, let it go, all go, and unleash all that aggression that's within you?
I just think that when you reach a certain level in the UFC, and since I've been signed to the UFC, all I've ever fought was ranked fighters,
Hmm.
and you reach a point where the pressure can get to you, because the trajectory of your career with a win or a loss is huge. And sometimes when you let that pressure get to you, you can stifle your creativity, you can stifle your excitement, and your passion for the sport. And so I've just kind of been reinvigorated, and have just made a decision to enjoy what it is that I do.
Absolutely. And your fight was pushed back. Holly Holmes was also pushed back too. How disappointed was she? I mean, I know I had talked to her right before that fight, and she seemed so ready to go. What were your conversations like with her after she had her fight pushed back?
Yeah, it's just a crazy year. This,
Yeah.
I think we're just, lucky to be able to continue to fight during all of this craziness and, go out there and give people an outlet and be able to do something that maybe we wouldn't be able to do in this time during these circumstances.
Yeah, 100%. Were you surprised to see Jon Jones announced yesterday? He's going to be vacating his title so he can move up.
I've been seeing Jon putting in work at the gym, putting in those weights. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm surprised. I think that Jon, I think he thrives off of a good challenge, and so this is just something that's going to motivate him and allow him to, thrive even more.
Yeah, and I mean, you've seen all kinds of heavyweights in that gym over the years. When you say Jon's hitting the weights, I mean, does he look in like he's going to be a proper heavyweight when the time comes for him to fight in that division?
He wouldn't have made that decision to move up unless he knew he could handle it.
Yeah, fair play. Anyone you'd like to see him fight? You think he should fight for the belt right away against Stipe?
For sure. Absolutely. He could definitely go in there and give Stipe a run for his money.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So just to kind of circle back to you, I mean, what do you think this fight with Angela looks like? I mean, I think with your guys' backgrounds, her coming from Muay Thai, you coming from karate, that seems like a pretty exciting clash there in terms of striking.
For sure, potential fight of the night. Um, you know, and I say that because that's where my heart is right now. My heart is to go out there and to let it all out. Like I think I'm over trying to overthink it. I'm over trying to strategize it. I'm over trying to win. I'm more excited to go out there and connect my fists to her face.
Is that, I mean, I'm sure we know, like, I think you knew probably coming in what Carla's game plan was going to be. And I think a lot of people do. She kind of applies the same thing every time, but to actually experience it, I mean, you came out of that maybe not feeling like you were in a real fight. You kind of mentioned it as a sparring match earlier, right?
Yeah, and it is she's won because of the way she fights. It's an amazing strategy on Carla's end, um, because that's her bread and butter. That's what she's good at, and she's going to continue to do it. Hey, if you can win the fight, then win the fight, because at the end of the day, the people remember the wins. You know what I mean? And so, hats off to her. Don't hate the play, hate the game, and that's her game. And I can't be mad at that. The only thing I can be mad at is what is within my control. And so, looking back at it, there are definitely times where I could have taken her down and shown the world that I have as just as good as wrestling as hers. But I was just stuck in my head. I was so stubborn. Like I just wanted to show the world that she couldn't take me down, that I didn't even want to give her the satisfaction of being able to take me down. And in doing that, I stifled myself and, just allowed her to squeak off that win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fair play. Well, it seems like will be a very telling fight for you and what you're going in there. It seems like you have the right mentality and everything. But I think we need to close it with the most important question of the day. How long are we growing out the hair here, Michelle? I think this is the longest I've seen it in a while.
It's coming back. I haven't had time to even do anything with it, so it's just growing and yeah, it'll continue to grow until I have time to. I haven't even made any time to go into the salon. That's just not a priority of mine right now. So it just gets pulled back, and whatever happens with it happens.
Fair play. So it's all like intentional. We're not going for like Holly Holm length here, are we?
I've had it pretty close to Holly Holm length.
Really?
Right after I had Araya, and then it was just one of those things that I wanted to change it up and then cut it really short. And then when it was short, it was like, okay, now that it's short, I want to try a bunch of different styles. And then I got over it and I just had other things that were ahead of the priority than my hairstyle. So
fair enough. I'm sure this is the content that people are just craving for watching this interview. Nevertheless, I will wrap it up there. I really appreciate it, Michelle. I'm hoping everything is great with your family and everything, and that all gets smooth over there. I'm glad you're in a good enough spot to fight. So I really appreciate you taking the time, and we will see you in there in a few weeks.
all right, guys, September 12th. I'll see you then.